Frankenstein, Del Toro's Frankenstein, and it is creature feature.
Yeah.
But I typically creature features are a tougher buy-in for me. I feel like you enjoy the creatures more than I do typically if we were to
Yeah.
think about season 1. Um, but if anybody can do a creature, it's Del Toro. And yeah, it's done a bunch of Critic Choice Awards, Golden Globes, and certainly well earned. Not a cheap movie to make.
Hi, I'm Cade,
And I'm Kit,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
Well, guys, we have finished up season 3,
Mhm.
and there's a bit of time before we start season 4, which is the best of 2025.
Mhm.
However, we did want to talk about a movie today that did not make our list. However, it has made quite a buzz across
Yeah.
um, the season last year,
Yeah.
as well as it's doing quite well across all kind of award shows.
Mhm.
So quite excited to talk about it, as well as it is in Kit's favorite genre. So, which is
Horror.
yeah. So we wanted to talk about that today.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell us what movie it was? Yes.
Frankenstein, Del Toro's Frankenstein, and it is creature feature.
Yeah.
But I typically creature features are a tougher buy-in for me. I feel like you enjoy the creatures more than I do typically if we were to
Yeah.
think about season 1. Um, but if anybody can do a creature, it's Del Toro. And yeah, it's done a bunch of Critic Choice Awards, Golden Globes, and certainly well earned. Not a cheap movie to make.
Not a cheap movie to make. No.
120 million, I think.
Yeah.
And
20 million to make.
my gosh, the cinematography shows it and the sets show it. And so it is money well spent, guys. I mean, I don't know how much you earned on it, but like this is the project. Do you want to talk about like what they drew from with doing this creature, and because it was from a novel, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So it's based off of the um, real novel of Frankenstein.
Mhm.
However, in this movie, they've taken several liberties and they've kind of freshened up the story,
Reimagined.
reimagined
Mhm.
what's going on. However, they base it kind of around kind of the early 1800s of kind of that kind of era of kind of creature feature,
Mhm.
building it out in the beginning.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think for a longer movie, which we learned that Kit loves a longer movie,
Oh,
it
flew by.
it held my attention, as well as I would say it's probably something that I would sit and watch again.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
Right now. I know we just watched it,
Just watch
and
it.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to dissect some of these scenes. Yeah, it reminded me of the anatomy of, I wanna say it's Doctor something, but it's a Rembrandt painting, and I don't know if they drew, like, the inspiration of the coloring from that Rembrandt, but, like, it is so beautifully shot. It's sectioned into the stories in 3 pieces.
3 pieces.
Perspective of the doctor from when he was a boy, what made him kind of the madness that he became as a scientist and a surgeon, then the perspective of the creature, and then, kind of their intermingling, I guess, would be
Yeah.
the 3rd section, yeah? What were your thoughts on the way that they did storyline?
I liked it. I thought, I think it's also kind of cool because there's this other kind of storyline going on amidst the Frankenstein, which is this captain who's like leading this ship
Mhm.
up in the north. And he's, I would say, very similar to the doctor, kind of in that breaking point of
Madness.
madness,
Mhm.
in which, kind of unfolds in the doctor's kind of story in the beginning.
Mhm.
So I think that's how they kind of bonded. But a very cool story as far as taking it through the different perspectives, which both of us enjoy that kind of storyline,
Yeah.
as well as I think. it at least for me, I enjoyed kinda hearing the monster's point of view and story, and kind of that intermingling storyline, which then filled in kind of the whole gaps of kind of the timeline,
Mhm.
which was very cool.
Yeah, it was interesting too, because when you hear the doctor's coming of age, you kind of understand why he becomes cold and cruel,
Mhm,
and, his mother passes away, through childbirth of, his little brother. The dad really leans towards just kind of adoring this little boy, not so much him. He had gotten more, like, disciplinary action, and he was absent and awful, and, it kind of starts to make him crazy and wanting to be better than, bigger than, a more known name than his, kind of barren father, and, it's interesting because I think when you watch how he creates this monster, which was a lot of, like, rebellion against what was known in science and kind of rebellion against God, and, what gives life, what takes life away, can we determine that more? Which, that's a classic kind of science versus faith, like, kinda conversation, which is interesting, and that he's, like, um, doing it with, like, a lot of, like, kind of robust emotions where he's like, "I know more and better, and I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna prove it, and I'm this," but it's not landing, like, with the community, and so they kinda dismiss him from, like, the medical, like, world. They're like, "Listen, whatever you're doing is not good." And then but there was one, person that was kind of a funder towards, like, kinda creating solutions, and we later find out it's because he was
he was dying as
ill,
well.
yeah. And his niece was, gonna marry the little brother because 'cause they'd been separated when the dad passed away, and they grew up in 2 different, kinda household environments, and so, that kind of expands out on how he gets, I guess, financially able to explore this, like, quite intense medical journey and, with timelines, and then, also kinda ties the brother back in and where they go.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on, I guess, like, childhood kind of creating madness later? Like, do you think that that was believable? Like, the way that they depicted it?
Yeah, I think, at least for me, I thought it was kinda believable. He was obviously the firstborn as well as his mom's favorite, only child, only
Mhm.
son.
Mhm.
So I think that, his father was stricter and harder on him, one, because he was carrying his name as a doctor, so he didn't put up with anything, and
Mhm.
then, at the same time, I think when his little brother was born and his mom died, the dad kinda resented him and made him, like,
Mhm.
even harder on that, and then, like, because that relationship was already strained, it just basically severed at that point,
Mhm.
and I think that's when he kind of decided he was just gonna be the best to, like, prove his dad wrong.
Mhm.
So yeah, so, like, that madness creating in there, I think was kinda what drove it, as well as then I think he in kind of that second part, his brother's fiancé at the time, he
Mhm.
found very interesting and muse
Mhm.
in interested in what he was doing, so I felt like he had some, like, leverage that then fueled his this, like, monster within him to, like, create these things because and during kind of the middle part of that, he's in kind of this romance kind of thing with his brother's fiancée,
Mhm.
and she's very intelligent, so they have these very intellectual conversations, as well as he's working with her uncle,
Yeah. Mhm.
who's financing everything for him,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he's, like, finding bodies, he's going to, like, collect body parts and
And he's like, yeah, using, like, cadavers to, like, see if the way that he's thinking about putting energy through, the nervous system, the lymphatic system, how do we put energy through? How much energy do you need? All these things. So it is a lot of science, and she's interested in science too, but more on like a bug kind of level and the creatures that she doesn't understand. And she approaches it with like a lot of curiosity and gentle
yeah, I would
curiosity.
say also too, she finds it very, like, from the get-go, even in, like, the bugs, like,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
She doesn't understand it,
Mhm.
but she's fascinated and, like, loves it in that way, which I think then in turns why she loves the monster that
Yeah.
created.
Yeah. So he built some monster.
Oh, there's a love story.
Then she denies him,
Yeah.
drives him into madness, as she should have, because she was already engaged, you know. But it's fine. I love
True love stories?
I loved her character though because she was complicated and intelligent, and I love that she was, she's the way that she dresses and the way that she speaks. She's very kind of ethereal and like, almost like yeah, esoteric or angelic and, like, with color, and she's, fabulous, and then she's very, like, kinda quick-tongued, and I'm like, "Oh, I would've been friends with this girl. I love this girl." Like, she just yeah, really great to see a complex woman in the era that the dialogue isn't about her wanting to be part of, like, industry, because that's usually what we see if we see a complicated character in that, and it was just really well done.
I would say, like, every character was pretty complex throughout.
Yeah,
Even,
emotionally
like,
complex.
the captain with his, like, crew,
Mhm.
like, it felt very
Yeah, so I
kinda
won't.
led you through the storyline.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and the little brother wanting to please and do well because that was like his
yeah.
heart was to like please people around him and do a great job.
So,
Mhm.
and with that, the little brother then was basically commissioned by his older brother to build the laboratory in which they create Frankenstein.
Mhm.
But also too, the older brother is doing that, so then he's away, so he'll have more time with his fiancée,
Mhm.
um, which in that time you learn kind of later in the story that then his brother becomes very scared of his older brother. Um,
He's watching the madness, like watching the way that he manipulates everything around him, people around him, and it doesn't really seem to matter how great of a job he does, like, 'cause he builds this laboratory, which is incredibly complex, especially in the time, and sourcing the materials and building them and making it happen, and the brother's just like, no, like, gratitude, no enjoyment, just like,
yeah.
"Good, you're doing what I paid you to do." You know what I mean? And kinda heartbreaking, their riff, but, later in the movie, we see that they repair in some ways, but in a lot of ways, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about the monster, the creature that
Yeah.
happens. So he
I would have to say for me, this is,
Hmm.
I think, the best part of the movie. For
Mhm.
one, it's, I would say maybe the first 2 are very predictable. You kind of know based on the Frankenstein story
Mhm.
what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
They take some liberties of, like, obviously using the lymphatic system to charge the body, but, like, electricity is still quite a big thing. Like, it's all kind of part of the storyline that we already know
Mhm.
from the Frankenstein story.
Mhm.
But I think for me, and maybe for you too,
Mhm.
the actual story of from Frankenstein's perspective
Mm.
was a very cool take on, in addition to the movie. I think it's what made the movie so good.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at it originally, it's like the doctor made the creature is learning from the doctor. He's not kind. It's hard and harsh and cruel the way that he's, like, treating it. Then he goes mad because he's not feeling that elation that you feel when you have succeeded at something. He feels the opposite, which it's like a syndrome, you know what I mean? Where you're like, "Oh my gosh, it didn't give me that dopamine hit or that adrenaline hit, so I'm gonna burn it to the ground. I don't have nothing to do with anything that I've done. It feels like failure inside." Then he blows up the laboratory. The creature's chained in the basement. He escapes through a water tunnel, so this is where the story starts from his side, is that he's alone and he has to get out. He does get out. When the building explodes, the doctor, like, severely, like, hurts his leg and has to amputate his leg, which is
Mhm.
great.
Well, because he hears the monster scream his name,
Mhm.
and so then he feels this guilt,
Yeah.
and so then he runs back, but then it's too late, and the building kinda blows up, so he, like,
Mhm.
loses his leg in the midst of that.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking watching how he is with the creature and then even from the creature's perspective because he's expecting the creature to talk and speak and walk and be like a grown man, but it's a child. It's everything's new.
Yeah.
it doesn't know letters, doesn't know how to speak, it has to learn everything, but he doesn't have a nurturing bone in his body. And, you know, the nurturing signs of his, like, adolescence were kind of taken away. So he's unkind, and so the creature can only say his name, which drives him crazy. Then, Elizabeth, which is the fiancée, tries to show some kindness, teaches a name, he learns that name, and so then he's escapes to the water, learns from a deer what berries are, like
Yeah, it's a very kinda
Mm,
cool scene because it's like I think, at least on the journey, he's not even good or bad.
mhm,
He's just kind of, like, taking in everything around him,
mhm,
and, yeah, a very cool scene because this deer's right in front of him.
mhm,
He learns what berries are, he tastes the berries. He's kinda, like, in with nature, and then a hunter shoots him,
mhm.
and then he, like, feels pain
Yeah,
and
and coldness.
coldness and the
Yeah,
sad part, which I also thought was kinda cool in the midst of it that they make Frankenstein, in a way that he doesn't die.
mhm. Yeah, so he regenerates so fast, almost instantly, that, like, a bullet wound heals almost right away. He cuts his hand, it heals almost instantly, and so he can't die, and he talks about, like, "Why didn't you grant me that mercy? Like, I'll have to live with, like, the human
Forever.
condition forever, and now I'm also alone, and I'm also a monster, I'm a beast, so I'm not human." And, like, so much so that, like, hunters from, like, quite far away are like, "What is that? It wasn't man, but it wasn't a bear?" Like, my gosh. And he hides out in a little cabin,
Yeah.
and then the family is at the cabin. It turns out to be this hunter's family, and there's an older blind gentleman who's teaching his granddaughter how to read. And so Frankenstein's like hiding kind of in the walls, watching how to like read, watching what a family is, and he starts just doing things around the farm to like contribute back. And they just call him, what do they call him? The
Like,
forest spirit.
yeah.
And he's like, "Sure." So he's, like, putting posts in the ground and, like, bringing them kindling and wood and, like, doing things, and they would, like, be like, "Thank you, spirit of the forest," and the grandpa was calling him that, but he was really like, "I'm pretty sure he's hiding in the like, this is a man that's hiding out in, like, this other cabin, but I'm not saying a word." And, um, and then because there's wolves that attack this little farm and harm a bunch of sheep, so they have to go sell the sheep things, and, so they go away for a bit, and Frankenstein decides he's gonna introduce himself to this grandpa,
Mhm.
this blind man, and he's like, "Oh, traveler, what's going on?" And things like that, and Frankenstein describes to him because he's scarred up from being sewn together, the other man's like, "Are you a soldier? Like, what's happening?" And then through time, he, like, realizes, like, "Okay, like, you're a monster that's put together, but you're my company, and I'm blind, and this is great." And, I he's like he lived with this guilt that where he had, killed somebody probably in a war, and so he just was in this place of, like, really accepting people around him, like the grandpa, and, was describing what a friend is, describing how to read, and gives it's kind of Frankenstein's first look at, like, kindness, warmth,
Yes.
and it humanizes Frankenstein so that you're not looking at him as, like, this creature that's going to be built for whenever, and now he's humanized because he's, like, in this interaction with this older man, and he's understanding that, like, violence is a part of life, certainly then, and that he's always gonna be misunderstood, but he doesn't feel so lonely for a moment.
Yeah.
Mhm,
As well as his, thirst for, like, knowledge.
mhm,
So, like, this grandpa basically teaches him, has him read all of these books,
mhm.
so he, like, learns so much information that then he starts kind of wondering
Where am
who he is, what is he, etcetera,
Mhm.
and, he ends up going back to
The tower.
the tower lab kind of area that had been blown up, and, based on the notes that he finds, he realizes that he actually is a monster that's been created, um,
Yeah,
which is yeah, I think you know what I mean? Like, you can't obviously fathom what that's like, but I think that they did a good job of, like,
how heartbreaking that would be.
showing that emotion. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Even like, how do you even create that? Because you don't even know what that feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I think they did a good job in that moment of doing that.
yeah, like, reading the books and kind of seeing photographs of like these discarded bodies being sewn together and realizing that like he calls himself a wreck, like a
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and that he is, he was built, he wasn't born, which he's experienced a family. And so now he's realizing that he doesn't have that and he isn't that. And his creator was cruel and awful. And
Yeah.
now he has to go through.
There's like no one like him,
Mhm,
and he's lonely.
mhm,
And then he finds the address of Dr. Frankenstein.
mhm.
And so basically he goes after him.
He's like, I'm going to find him and I'm going to ask him to create another me, create another creature so I don't have to go through this life where I can't die, where I can, yeah, have a
Yeah.
companion. Because the older man gets killed by wolves, get in while he's away at the tower. And then the farmers come home, the hunters, and they try to shoot him again. And then he thinks that he did die for a bit because got shot so much. And then nope,
Comes back alive.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like still moving. So he takes the address from a letter that was not burned from the tower, and he goes to find Dr. Frankenstein. He's like, make me a companion. So if I have to go through this life, that I have another like me. And
Which is interesting because I think like they could, like, there's so many points in which they could have killed him off
Mhm,
and they could have just left the story there
mhm,
and it would have been good,
yeah.
but they kept going, which I thought was cool too.
Also, it made me really think about like the thought process of loneliness being this like such a need to overcome, which is such a human emotion that we need to be connected to other people, other like things. Um, that it would drive you to this place where you're like, I'm going to confront my maker that I'm so
Yep.
heartbroken by, destroyed by it, but I still don't do it because loneliness is worse.
Yeah. I mean, well, in season 3, your movie, Into the
Mm-hmm.
Wild,
Mm-hmm.
is this exact concept
Yeah.
that they based the movie on, which is totally true.
Yeah.
So fascinating that they've like humanized
Mm-hmm.
the monster of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
because he's learned and he's intelligent and he's human,
Yeah.
parts of humans.
Mm-hmm.
So he's this new creature.
Yep.
But he goes after the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
shows up
The night of the wedding.
the night of the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor's like, no, I won't create you a companion. And from his standpoint, I guess was more scientific because
Mm-hmm.
he brings up like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna reproduce? And then we have this, you know,
Army of demons with no souls
yeah,
being
basically.
born and constructed, which like if you're a doctor, you could have a no uterus with your creature, like that was a choice, but he just wouldn't help it, which so then the monster says, "Well, then I'll indulge in rage,"
Yeah.
and, to get it out, so he's throwing around the room, and the bride, so Elizabeth, who had shown him, like, this gentle kindness in the beginning, walks in her beautiful, like, bridal gown, and I was like, "It's you, oh my gosh, you survived." She was so heartbroken, she'd kept the leaf that he'd given her in this, like, little interaction, and, uh and so she's, like, hugging him and this room's all destroyed from Frankenstein throwing the other doctor around. The fiancé runs into, like, what was all of this kerfuffle, and Doctor Frankenstein's like, "Elizabeth, get away from the beast," and he goes to shoot. He shoots her,
Shoots her.
and, and then all of these people come in just at that moment, and he's like Doctor Frankenstein's like, "He attacked her." And Frankenstein's like, "No," like the monster, and he's moving everybody away, and he, accidentally kills the fiancé. His head gets cracked against something, and,
Which is a great interaction between the two brothers.
mhm,
And that's, they have this interaction where the older brother's like, I can save you. And the younger brother is like, you're the monster.
like, "You'd have to save me from you."
Yeah.
And,
And then he dies.
mhm,
It's kind of, I mean, I'm sure if we were reading the script, we would be like, this is cheesy
mhm.
based on what they're saying back and forth to each
Oh
other
my
close to
gosh.
the end.
Yes.
But
It's so
it works.
interesting how much works because even like Frankenstein, she's like the bride is dying. She's like tells the monster Frankenstein to take me with you, and he just like walks her into like a cave in the woods, and she says a short monologue
Which, yeah.
in the dialogue
But like
there.
on that, it's like so pretty because she's in this white dress, but it's starting to turn red
Mhm,
as they're walking from like the blood. But
mhm.
it's like so beautifully
shot.
shot
Everything is so beautifully shot.
in the midst of that. Like
Ugh.
yeah, you can't pull away. You're like, what's gonna happen next? And so the
What did you think was gonna happen? I thought because of the speech with the brother that the doctor was gonna be like, "I'm gonna make the companion out of the because I don't wanna lose this bride either," because he had this, affection towards her. I thought he was gonna succumb and, like, take her dead body and, like, build the companion. I thought he was gonna do it to redeem himself from this brother interaction. Nope. She dies.
she dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spoilers. And it's awful, but she's so happy that she got to see this creature again because she just felt like she wasn't really meant for this world, so the fact that she had him watch her die, she felt like that was great, which I was like again, I was like, "This would be so cheesy and awful," but the way that it's done, it's heartbreaking, and you feel for her, and you feel for him. There's a redemption in it. It's
Mhm.
an interesting take on the monster's bride, like Frankenstein's bride. It's so good, and then
But then I think, like, the movie coulda ended there,
Mhm.
but then they take it even a step further, in which it kinda loops back to the beginning of the movie,
Mhm.
and basically the doctor's gone mad and he's hunting the monster,
Mhm.
but the monster is basically playing cat and mouse
Mhm.
with the doctor in the midst of it. He says, like, "You may have created me, but now I'm gonna be your master,"
Mhm.
because he's not listening to the monster or
Mhm.
not of kinda comparing him as an equal. He's, like, basically still thinking he's an animal.
Mhm.
So they keep running north, and so they get kind of in this, I guess, the far north, North
Mhm.
Pole area,
Yep.
um, kind of where kind of the movie starts, and basically the, um, Frankenstein, the monster, you know, it's taunting the doctor,
Mhm.
and kind of how the movie started shows the him with a stick of dynamite, and he's like, "You better hope that all your faith is in this item that will kill me, and if not, I'm coming after you again,"
Mhm.
kinda thing.
Yep.
And obviously, we've learned through the movie that nothing can kill the monster,
Mhm.
so he comes back,
Mhm.
and he's after the doctor, and then it comes back to the room in which they're both telling the story in front of the captain of the ship,
Mhm.
and they have this moment of forgiveness, which I think is also a very cool concept that
Yeah.
they included in the movie.
I kept because I was saying to you, I was like, "So interesting that the foundation of this movie is redemption."
Yeah.
And to actually take a creature feature, a monster movie, and have it be about forgiveness and redemption, and it's so much of the dialogue. Can you forgive yourself? Can you forgive what your father did to you? Can you forgive your little brother being so loved and adored and you weren't? Can you
Forgive humans being humans.
Yes, like, that's so natural in them. Can you forgive each other, like your creator for being so awful and cruel, on his deathbed because,
Yeah.
the doctor passes away, it was that you have to live this incredibly lonely life, which is it seems like there's no escape that way, just this awful, horrendous life that you'll have in front of you. And then he had, the monster in pursuit of looking for the doctor and running into this captain from the beginning. Some of the men were killed, so how he redeems that is that he pushes them out of the ice because he's unbelievably strong and, like, allows them and then the captain who had gotten obsessed with completing this, mission of, like, going to the North Pole even though the boat keeps getting stuck and people keep dying and morale is low, he's like, "And we're gonna turn around, we're gonna go home to our families because like, I have this story to bring home," and that's
Yeah.
I completed an adventure, I completed my mission to go back, which it's so interesting to me, like, to talk about, like, captains or leaders or doctors or people, especially in that era that were, like, kinda they were it, right? Like, they were the ones that made decisions. They're the ones that kind of move forward, and so I feel like for me to, like, see that, like, so many people had, like, gone into, like, obsession and madness, I love that, and I feel like they explored obsession
Mhm.
in a really great way.
Yeah, both kinda characters.
Totally, and then how do you forgive yourself for being so obsessed that other things got hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I also thought it was cool how in that kind of moment at the end before Doctor Frankenstein dies, the conversation turns more into father-son,
Mhm,
which is also kind of how he started the story, talking about him being the son and his father,
mhm.
and how he didn't like the way that relationship was, so he's not gonna do that to something that he created.
Mhm.
Like, so there's several kind of parallels throughout the whole movie
Yeah.
amongst all of these different relationships that are just layered on top of each other. It's a very complex movie, which
Yeah.
I knew you would like.
I so loved it, and there was, yeah, things that reminded me of, like, yeah, tones from, and not that Del Toro, whatever, I don't, this wouldn't be adjoined, but there's a movie called The River Runs Through It,
Yeah.
and it's from a really masculine perspective, and I remember the first time that I watched it, I was like, "This movie's trash," like, I didn't like it at all, I was like, I didn't get it, and I remember every, like, man in my life was like, "Oh, this movie," and the way that the river runs through, and a lot of it was, like, father-son redemption type story, and that's why I was so like, "I don't get it," like, "Mm,
Yeah,
seems a bit slow, so just go fishing, like,
sure.
that's what you wanna do." And so with this, I was like, because they used a monster and because there was other, like, things in play, I was like, "Oh, I understand the depth of this and what they're trying to communicate because of how they've played things out and, like, how important and different, like, father-son relationships can be and how that
Yeah,
can affect your perspective on love and the world and things like that and forgiveness, especially forgiveness." And so, massive kudos to Del Toro. The last time I liked a creature feature was Pan's Labyrinth, which also Del Toro. Um, it is so well done, and it's everything I said to you before. I was like, it's everything that I wished we'd gotten out of Nosferatu, but we got none of it. It's the
yes.
opposite,
Yeah,
where we just were left being like,
yeah.
"Oh, it was on the nose. Oh, like, why didn't they expand that out? I wish they did a different take on that, or I wish I understood the creative motivation behind it." Any of those, like, wants that we got from us were nothing was there. I left feeling like, what amazing adaptations and expansion and imagination behind a story that we know, a creature that we know, and a way that we can love this creature as you would like a child kind of coming of
Yeah.
age story, and what an awful cruel world this can be and how important it is that we have each other. Like, that was such a big theme of the story and so well played out, and the visuals the entire way are incredible.
Yeah, it's
Incredible.
beautiful,
Mm.
and it ends, so the end of the movie basically kind of how the first time that he's out in nature, he's seeing either the sunrise or the sunset,
Mhm,
and he's just kinda basking in the kind of the sun
mhm,
on basically like a white out the ocean, I guess, an
mhm.
iceberg, and that's how the movie kinda ends, which is quite beautiful as well as I always like movies that it's like leaves it kind like the story's complete, but it leaves it kinda open-ended that there could be more
'Cause there
stories
was
to be
still,
told.
because there was books, and there was writings, and there was journals on maybe he, because he's never gonna die and he keeps learning, maybe he can build his own,
Right.
like, companion. I really hope there's more. I loved the movie. Like, I can't wait to watch it again. I'm so excited the whole time, and I kept thinking that I would lose my anticipation or lose my adrenaline when you're watching it, and I just kept, it was really edge of the seat the whole time, and I was like, "How is this not cheesy? I am so in this."
I
Like,
enjoyed it because definitely she enjoyed it so much. It's definitely worth a watch.
Mhm.
It's on
It's on Netflix.
Netflix,
Yes.
and I believe it's on Prime too, maybe?
I'm not sure. I looked on Netflix for sure.
On
It,
Netflix.
yeah, I know it definitely is meant for streaming. It had a limited
Yeah.
theatrical run, right? We're rating it out of 5 stars. What would
Oh,
you give
yes,
it?
I guess we gotta rate the movie.
Mhm.
We like the movie.
We did.
I would rate it I think I'm gonna rate it a 4.5.
I'm a 4.5 as well. I feel like it is everything that you would want out of a creature feature. I think that it would be
Yes.
hard to even find where the point 5 is, but I wanted maybe more room for some female actors, and would have like helped in maybe a little bit more room with his relationship with the older man, and how that expanded. How did he go from like A B C D to
Yeah.
like full on reading? I felt like there was some lulls, but
I think,
yeah.
like, yeah, if we have to get that technical, I think they could have broken it up into 2 movies. to tell those stories.
But it'd still be one movie. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay, okay, but
Um,
you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, if those are the notes in developing those relationships more, the movie's already 2.5 hours long,
mhm,
but I would say, like, you
mhm.
don't realize that that time's passed.
Oh my gosh, no.
So, it's definitely worth a watch.
Mm,
It's a long movie, so you'll have to, like
mhm.
you'll want to sit and watch it. You won't want to do something else while watching it.
No.
Um, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
it's good.
it
It's a good movie,
it's so
as well as why it's been so popular.
mhm.
So we had to give it a review.
Yeah, and you'll be noticing when you, launch into season 4 with us that we will start rating on a star, rating system as we move closer to our application for Rotten Tomatoes, so,
Yeah.
look forward to that as well. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.